folks, welcome back for an episode of Our Journeys. We're going back to a friend of the channel. Oh. Hello, folks, welcome back for an episode of Our Journeys. We are joining AyRoss.NPO, who has a Twitch channel of the same name, FYI, if you'd like to check him out there. I believe it's actually just AyRoss.NPO on Twitch. Plays there frequently, as I recall. Running a Battle Mage deck, which is his jam, as it were. He likes playing a lot of hard, like straight-up intelligence, a lot of blues.
Behold,
but his first love, like mine, was Battle Mage. That was the first deck he played with, and so he continues to make stellar variants of it. I'm wondering, seeing the Nord Firebrand, certainly this wouldn't make it this, but we saw Brother Ridge and I believe one other. Oof. Not a card you expect to see these days, but a nice card in general. I think it's not a Battle Reeve. Battle Reeve is the minion. I can't remember what it's called, but anyway. Yeah, here we are in turn 7, and AyRoss has some cards in hand. But he could play them all on this turn if you wanted to. Gives Jack a nice buff there, not only with the Battle Mace, but giving him Ward also gives him an extra boost to his stats. And just like that, he has closed Irix. I think it's Irix, the Immortal. Oh, and Jack's going to get sent back. He loses his Battle Mace, he loses his Ward, he loses everything. He is now just Jack. There's nothing magnificent. But when we're seeing Bannerman, particularly, I mean, obviously there was a time where Bannerman got a lot of play, but it was always removed. Bannerman is always getting silenced or removed. It's just kind of a thing, which out of all the cards that are kind of like a go-to get rid of, Bannerman isn't. I mean, it spawns the Firebrands, which if you built the deck right, can really be of great effect. But like I'm wondering if AyRoss is running a like what Brother Ridge did, and like I said, there was one other person that was doing it. What does he have, a finish off or Leaf Lurker? He has a finish off. Okay. And I just realized I think this is just a casual match. Oh no, it's not. This is an event. We are in the event. This is the surplus lane over here. Reducing cards in hand by 1, which is why he had the 0 cost Lightning Bolt. So that didn't go great for him. Unfortunately, it looked like he just kept getting discounts on a singular action, and which is fine, but he's not really in a place where he needs cards more than he needs the Magicka. Wow, that kind of worked out great. If he was so inclined to clear the board, he may want to wait till Arex plays. Yeah, like let him hit you, let him give you some cards, and play some more cards on the board. As long as those cards don't get buffed, that Ice Storm is going to be huge. Or you play it now. Or you don't play it now. Or you do. Sorry, you don't. Makes me feel a little better, as I said many times before, my original Battle Mage deck had a variety of cards, but one of them was a copy of Ice Storm because it was an epic. Why wouldn't I put an epic in there? I see people playing it all the time, but the people that were playing it all the time were control players. Not people who were playing cards like the Imp and, you know, Kael'Morn Hero and were wiping out their entire board just to clear off 1 or 2 of their opponent's board in a control match. So I lost quite a few games of that. Oh my gosh, a Trebuchet!
Of course I'm on your side.
Wow, okay, so apparently Irix is also playing an aggro. I don't know, it's weird. Good to see Trebuchet in action, such that it can be. Does make things a little nerve-wracking for AyRoss, though.
This is interesting.
Since if he plays Manic Jack, there's a 50-50 chance. Now he could play Jack and Bannerman. But he may want to play the Firebrand suit just to give less of a chance that that's going to happen. Not saying that it would have. It could have still very well hit it. But if you played the Firebrands and just left them on the board, that decreased it from a 30% chance, 33% chance, down to a, what would that be, 20% chance? And yet, Irex again with another 1-2 removal. You know, being able to use those pings. And here we go. If he doesn't play any creatures at all, those trebuchets are going face, which is 8 damage next turn. Plus, and I think that's what Irex is trying to figure out. So I think AyRoss is going to have to play those Firebrands just so that those trebuchets have another target other than his face. Otherwise, that is 16, 20, 21, 22, 23 damage. All right, so with the Orc Clan Captain and the Firebrands, he could trade with the Mortal Trader, but I think right now the board is arrayed so much that he really has to push that 4 damage and maybe hope for... Okay. All right, so he's going to be able to push 6 with a rapid shot, maybe drawing another boost. All right, so that's 5. He can play them all. Yeah, I think he's got it. I think he's got it. I think that Mentor Ring is going to give him exact lethal.
We stand united. Close ranks, let nothing through.
Wow! What a clutch pickup by AyRoss.
Nicely done.
Wow! What a finish! What a finish! Alrighty, next game on the docket is Jshadz. We actually queued him first when I started this video initially. However, we got him pretty much everything looked pretty good. I was like, all right, we can start with this. And in one, but I didn't even notice what board he had, and he he won like the very next turn. I was like, that's a little too quick. But yeah, it's really cool. We get to see this Pilfer deck with, of course, the Thieves' Den, which is amazing. It's not the premium version. I've only seen that run once, maybe twice. He's up against J22U1, so Jshadz versus J22. The Battle of the J's. Ungulum goes down. Battle Mage Onslaught. So, seeing some cool decks here. Again, Pilfer Ebonheart from Jshadz. Not something you see very often at all. I mean, you rarely see any combo of... What in the world is that? I mean, I know what it is, but what's it doing in that deck? Interesting. All right, well, Galeen is going to Pilfer, become a 5/5. I was going to bet money on it. I thought, you know what? I probably shouldn't put any bets down because the way my calls have been going, nothing is ever as it seems. Dismantle, another card that is really was considered to be a bad value a long time ago. Nobody ever ran it. People were mocked for running it. And now you just should expect to see at least 1 or 2 of them. Even if they have a bunch of other support removal. To be fair, Dominion doesn't have a ton of other support removal. You're either running that or the Vicious Streg or the Vicious D, we call him, because we don't know exactly how his name is spelled. It's quite a mystery. Ooh, Spirit Knife. So J22 running, I mean, I hate to call it this, but I preface it with the obnoxious moniker because just playing removal against removal is just kind of a very tedious process. But, I mean, to be fair, you know, it's only been, what, 2 turns? 2 or 3 turns that we've seen? So, once again, Jshadz is going to close the game out much sooner than I would have preferred as a spectator, but at least we did get to see it more or less from the outset. It just moved very quickly, and unless J22 has an Ice Storm, no, even then it wouldn't help. No, I think, I mean, Red Gear would do it, but he's too away from that.
So many purses, so little time.
He's just, I think, just playing out the turn. And Jshadz is going to handily take this one. This is not obviously an event deck. This is just a...
My fight is done.
Yeah, well played, Jshadz. Well, way to close that out quick. So we're going to be watching Inu, Yukinu. Yuki, the YUK was added just because, for whatever reason, Bethesda or Legends won't let you just use Inu. But his name is Inu, so we'll call him Inu. And this is a little bit of a tragic story because we made contact while I was doing some recording, and it just kind of came naturally. Hey, let's go ahead and do a spotlight. And I thought I had a solution, a workaround for a problem that I had before, which was not being able to capture the game audio separate from the Discord audio, because he didn't have a way to do audio on his end, so we were going to use our Discord conversation. But as I said before, if I'm getting audio from this screen, which is the Legends game, I'm not getting audio from Discord. Anyway, I thought I had a workaround for it. Could have sworn I did. Sat down to do the edit, no audio whatsoever on his end. So instead of this being a spotlight, we kind of broke up some of his games, and I'm going to spread them throughout so that you can see them, because some of them were really, really cool. But we had a nice conversation. The good news, though, is that we're going to take another stab at the spotlight in the next week or so. And we had a great conversation the first time. I think we'll have a great conversation the second.
Speak, citizen.
And he's very keen on, talking through plays. So we're going to get to know him a little bit. We're going to be able to talk to him and find out, get to know him outside a little bit of Legends. But the primary focus is going to be really talking about the plays, why it does certain things. And you can see Legendary, rank 58. I'm not going to say too much about him because I want you to hear it from himself. But you can see Legend, rank 58. And as you can also see from his card back, he has made the top 100 as well. So another high-level player. And I think, speaking for myself, it was great to hear his thoughts on the game. And hey, Oreo against Oreo. Oh, now I want Oreos. Gosh darn it.
Oh, Shakaje, bless your soul.
It stinks. I'm really trying to... I actually got this... Well, I won't show you the whole shirt because... Why? But it's like a Mega Man shirt. It says Blue Bomber on it. But it's a 3/4 T. And part of the reason I got it is because they're thinner, usually. And so, if you got the love handles on the side, which I do, the spare tire, you can see it. So you can still wear the shirt, but it looks a little... You're not really hiding anything. And so I'm trying to use that as motivation to say, hey, come on, keep losing weight. But then I have these cravings. I'm like, oh my gosh, an Oreo cookie sounds so good. And I can't eat just one. I eat like 20 of them. Actually, no. Last time I bought Oreos, I bought the family pack, and I finished them in a day. It's like I can't... There's not something in my brain that's like, it says they're there. You should eat... Actually, no, I take that back. It was 2 days. It took 2 days. But yeah, my self-control is garbage right now. And that's nothing to celebrate. But like even me, I was thinking, well, maybe after this I'll go out and get a bag of. I was like, I can't do that.
Draw power from their blood.
I think 10 of them is my daily caloric intake for the day. Anyway, Yukinu, just so that you know about this deck, Inu, sorry. This particular deck is a mid-range tribunal. So you're going to see him. I can't remember. Obviously, I watched it at the time, but I don't remember exactly how the beats of this game go. But that is the constitution of the deck, and he plays it as a mid-range. But it is a mid-range. I think a lot of his mid-range, because that's his favorite archetype, as is mine. Because, well, again, I'll let you hear it from him. I just enjoy it, playing it myself, for a lot of the same reasons that he does. But his tend to be... I can't remember his word for it, but I just think of it, you have mid-range... gosh, what do you call it? High-end mid-range and low-end mid-range. He had a different name for it. But essentially, are you more... You're more... I'm going to start going aggro and I can pivot to mid-range and kind of hold my own against a more aggressive aggro deck. Or are you more of a mid-range to control where I've got a pretty good back end that would allow me to... one's going to be harder to win against aggro, to stay in the game against aggro. The other one is you're going to start getting worried that you're going to be outvalued by control at the end. And I don't remember about this one, but I think looking at it, we're seeing a pretty beefy midsection here, the 5s, 6, 7s, or 5s and 6s, I guess.
Raise the spine of battle.
But I don't remember how much of a high end he has. Obviously, in every deck, you need to have your at least 2s and 3 drops, preferably some 1 drops in there. I know that was Kfluffy. Kfluffy did a breakdown of arena drafts, and while it doesn't necessarily parallel exactly what you want to do in Constructed, the principle of having a nice chunk, especially in bigger decks, 75 card decks, you want to have a big chunk of smaller cards up front. Otherwise, you're just gonna get... It's gonna be very difficult. Like the the game tells you should always have a mix of these certain cards. Have this many items, this many mostly creatures, but some items and some actions and things. Anyway, all that to say, I can't recall this deck's constitution if he's got anything higher than like Yukinu. I don't know if he even has Yukinu in this list. I'm guessing he does. But if that's like his high end, he caps out at 8, or if he actually has some 10 or 11 or 12 drops as well. But anyway, I do love it. I remember I tried running this. I call it, black, blue, and gold or something. I don't know. It gave it some cheesy name. But the idea being, because usually when you see Tribunal, you expect control. So, control decks aren't going to expect you to come out all that fast. Aggro decks are going to think, oh, we can just, go at him. He's just going to take it. And then you turn the tables on turn 4 because you have higher value, some higher value cards. You make some good trades, and suddenly you have the board, and you just close out the game and 3 more turns. But obviously, as we know, and I haven't even talked about the opponent yet, the Smuggler, Zuzoloko32, is also in Legends, is in the Legendary ranks, a little bit higher, but is running that Control Empire that we see a lot. Although, I will say Bollywog, don't see that very often in any deck, really, except for maybe the Journey to Sovngarde, or not Journey to Sovngarde, Hrothgar, High Hrothgar / Imaginary Might decks, that you might see him in there. He's good for that. And his leg is good for healing if you are running self-harm decks, although I think the most efficient self-harm decks are just running in Crusader. They don't really run in Redoran anymore. Because the healing is nice, but it bloats the deck a lot as well. So anyway, Inu in a really good spot here, 34 up 34-8. And again, I mean, kudos to Zuzolok. Maybe that's how you say it, Zuzolok? Zuzoloko. Not, playing a lot of cards that you don't see a lot of. The 7-8 and a control deck. Pilfer, that's an uncommon sight there as well as the Bollywog. And, and I think he's just going to be able to close it out right here. Strike with a 1, strike with a 7. GG, Inu. Boink, boink. And sometimes you would see a delay because we were talking. And happily, we have come across Arachis.NPO running an Empire deck, an Old Salties Empire deck, no less. That's a first. I don't think I've seen Old Salties run in Empire colors before. But remember, as I said many times, before Aelid Guardians came around, and before New Era, which again was at the very end of the game's run, Empire was becoming the premier, or one of the premier, aggro decks. Obviously, Crusader probably still stronger, arguably, but being able to run Mournhold along with some of the other, weapons made it a pretty viable contender there. Especially they had, if you wanted to play tokens, it had the shrines that if you had it and you had creatures in each lane, it discounted cards in your hand. So as long as you could generate cards, you were good to go. Please, Daskny, do not spit out. Hey, all right, we got a Martin Septim here. I was just saying, please no Alduin, please no Parthenax. It gets so tiring, and fortunately, no, he's just doing the Martin Septim. He is looking to do, it would seem anyway, he is looking for the Avatar OTK, the Avatar of Akatosh, which is, you can get a title for that. I managed to pull it off, I think, in casual once. It's really hard because you kind of have to be a good sport, because if somebody sees that your avatar is going to trigger, they usually will just concede. So it's really hard to get that. Not because, it is kind of hard to do that, to get him to stick, but it's even harder because a lot of people are just like, nah. So a little PSA, if you are up against somebody who is, who doesn't already have that title, and who is about to have their avatar go off, just be a good sport. Just be nice about it. Let that at least trigger. And if they spam, if they're like, and they just start playing other stuff, you can go ahead and quit. But you at least let it trigger. Give him the chance to go off on that, because it really is hard to get him to stick without being silenced or completely shut down. All right, let's get that off of there. Alrighty. So, and unfinished business. Great card to see. And this is not the event. This is not the arena. This is constructed. So we're getting to see a nice variety here. Obviously, unfinished business coming from the old Salties Assault, i.e. the merchant. And boy howdy, as the tide shifted in one short turn, as I was blabbing on about Martin Septim and letting him become the avatar, Arachis has just whittled that life total down from a respectable 30 to a terrifying 8. And it would seem, because he was able to do it before Eurodestiny could play the Resurrect. It's not called Resurrect. It's not Retrieval either. Can't remember what is that called. Why am I blanking on that? The 9 cost.
I will spill your blood. The hist heals and rejuvenates.
And that'll do it. Arachis going to take it home. Eurodestiny not wanting to live through the pain. We have rejoined the event with Watson 540. Once again, a reminder, surplus. Field lane is now surplus lane. You play a card there, it is going to discount a card in your hand by 1. Random. You never know. And I believe we got a couple of Watson games in this event from last time. Unfortunately, Watson is a player who likes to run fun decks, likes to try to come up with cool combos and things that may not be optimized, but are just a little bit different. And unfortunately, I think every game we've seen, he's just come across a lot of hard-nosed aggro. And he's just been getting aggro down. So Elder needs to buy a vowel for Elder KBP-ika.
My friend.
Elder Kibika. And he's not leaving his
Be on your guard.
Profiteer alone. The Breton Conjure is trying to chase him down, trying to ruin his life and trigger that 5/5. He will trigger the 5/5, of course. And unfortunately, that poor Balmora Spymaster. Now, if Donfang transforms, or when Donfang transforms into Duskfang, he can combine that with Fork of Corpulation and draw some cards off of it and kill off his Spymaster. But until then, you stick a fork in him, you give him Donfang, Spymaster ain't doing jack to the squad. So, Elder's gonna poke.
We stand united.
And yeah, he's gonna finish off the guard with that. And yeah, and he's not pushing, so he's kind of stepped back from the aggro approach.
Speak, citizen.
And is just looking to build up that board, which is kind of smart, just knowing that Watson does have that heal ability. Oh my gosh! Oh, Watson, I'm so sorry. That is a slap in the face, and I don't know why Elder is not pushing at this point. Now again, he can Duskfang his Spymaster, get rid of the Atromancer. Okay, that is about as middling. That's the very definition of middling right there. He could definitely use the health, so it's not the worst. Oh boy.
Ready to die.
He does have a discounted Marak, but he's not discounted enough. And that's pretty much going to be game, I think. Unfortunately. Watson looking to draw some of that firepower onto his Profiteer. And that's pretty much worst case scenario. Yeah, things just not going great for Watson in this, at least in the games that we've observed here. He just pretty much had the rottenest of luck so far. And he will be able to play Marak next turn, but there are no guards. Ooh, Dawn's Wrath. Is that going to be enough? I think he's got lethal in both lanes, though. If it came one turn earlier, or 2 turns earlier, it definitely could have turned the tide. But as it stands now, it's exact lethal in that shadow lane.
You're mine now. Sniveling
And
coward.
Elder going to be able to skip that last rune. You fought well, Watson. The cards were just not with you this game.
Today's episode is brought to you by Vincenzo's creation, Chillren. This is a 5-cost item, +3, +2 to stats. Upon summoning, when a creature equipped with Chillren damages an enemy creature, shackle that creature. First of all, this is an in-lore game, which I love that. I think Vincenzo tries to do that with a lot of the cards he creates, brings the lore from Skyrim and just Elder Scrolls in general, I believe, into play here. I think the few that I've created, I don't even think about doing that. But Chillren is an in-item game. It's unique, obviously, and it has freezing properties. You can get it pretty much at any level. I just did some basic research on it, but it is a legit item, so it's great to see. And I like items. I'm a big items fan anyway, so it's great to see that in there. I think a 5 cost for what it is might be, and it's a unique legendary. I like unique legendaries. I do think, I mean, obviously, when it's a specific item like that, you can't do multiple copies. So, just like Umbra and the big hammer, Hammer of Stendar, and there's a ton. Dawnbreaker. Crap, I can't remember. There's a few of them out there, and the fork of Recapitulation. But anyway, very very pleased with that. Obviously, I think it fits in Battle Mage colors very well. They are the deck of weaponry. The only thing I will say, this card is reminiscent of Icy Shambles and Glacial Dragon, both of which do damage upon. I'm sorry. Shackle upon doing damage. So its effect is similar to those two cards. The only thing I will say about the stats on this one, if you look at both Glacial Dragon and Icy Shambles, they have more health than power because it's not so much about them hitting hard, it's about them staying alive to be able to shackle. It's more about board control. And so it's more about keeping that creature alive to be able to hopefully impact 1 or 2 different cards. Now both of those do damage upon summoning, and so it allows their effect it allows their ability to take effect right off the jump, and then, in theory, they can survive. Glacial's a 4/5, Icy is a 2/3. So, that being said, I think this isn't necessarily an item for reach. So, while 3/2's, I don't think that's overstated. I think for a weapon like this, you want to keep it on the board as long as possible. Maybe flip those stats to 2/3, or maybe even 2/4 or 1/4. I mean, maybe that's overstated, but it's more about, I think, giving that creature longevity and allowing them to stay alive to trade with more and more creatures on the board versus giving you that burst of damage to finish off an opponent. So I think health is more important for this than power is. But aside from that, like I said, I love in-lore game stuff. I like I said, I think the colors are appropriate. I think whether it's a 3/2 or a 2/3 or a 1/4, I think the 5 cost, it might be a little high. I don't know. I think for the effect though, maybe that's probably right in the sweet spot. I wouldn't suggest a change on the cost for those stats. Though one may be warranted, to me it doesn't jump out enough to demand it. But anyway, that is the sponsor of today's video, so big thank you to Chillren and Vincenzo for supporting this video. And now back to the games.
And once again, we are joining Tiago the Blacksmith with his crazy, wacky 85, 86 card Tavani Singleton deck that you've seen in some other videos. He sent me a fresh batch the other day. So I've got another, I think, 2 more videos or so that I'm just gonna continue to pepper in, and if he sends me more, I'll continue to put him in there. Like I said, he is looking to do a version of this that is in Tribunal, so we'll be on the lookout for that as well. Also had a request in the chat. It's very rare. A lot of times I get asked for deck lists, but it's not often that I get, hey, want to see more of this particular person, this particular player, because usually it's a smattering. So had a particular request for more Tiago, so I'm very happy to have the option to bring it to you. He's up against Camberwick Green. That's a cool name. For some reason, Wick. I just like the name Wick, and it has nothing to do with like John Wick. It was before John Wick came out. Lampwick from the original Pinocchio back in the 40s or 50s or whatever. I thought Lampwick was like the coolest name. I still think it's really cool. I think that's where I first discovered my love of it. All right, what is he going to gale in? Okay. And that's really not a bad thing. I think items don't get Galened enough. I remember... oh, crap, I can't remember his name now. Wore the backwards hat. Dead Broke Nerd. There we go. Dead Broke Nerd. He actually Galened. I'm really not sure what the official pronunciation is on that. The Enchanted Armor, or the 2-cost 0/3 armor that allows you to draw a card. He did that, and I mean, it won the game for him because it was not only more card draw, but they come down as, you know, a 3/4 buff. It was phenomenal. So anyway, all that to say, I think Thiago set himself up really well for the rest of the game. Some people I think are reluctant to that, but you saw it was for the card draw. It's a card draw item. I think that's the key. The key there. All right, so he is up. Camberwick Green, the Heroi. It's weird. There we go. The Shadowfen has the answer for it. Only one in the deck, obviously being Singleton, came down at the right time because that's fine. Especially for Thiago. Anytime you're up against another control deck, the amulet is. I'm not gonna say it's not relevant because if the game goes long and it goes a certain way, it really can come down to kind of a race, even with control. But usually because control is going, I've got a board full of big bodies, I'm going to finish this. Healing for 1 or 2 isn't going to help you. It's really against, you know, staving off the early aggro and even mid-range attacks, throwing off the math on every play, especially if you're able to play guards or sacrifice your own creatures. Oof. You hate to see that. You really hate to see it. I don't dislike Grizzly Gourmet. I mean, I don't like the idea of Grizzly Gourmet because it's like, what exactly are you feeding people? Giggles! Oh, so good to see you again, Giggles. But man, I just hate. I like it. It feels weird when those kind of cards can ignore, like Aerostorm and these other things that can ignore wards or any other kind of effects like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. It just feels so bad because it's like you just lose all that value. Like the Breton Conjurer. You know, the 1/1 and Stone's Throw it just kills him, doesn't even, just says screw your ward. You know, to Thiago's credit though, I mean, he does have a fantastic target for his poops in the ocean or whatever that card is called. I can't remember. I should have looked. Sun and Shadows, maybe. Thiago going on the offensive here. I remember he did say, I believe it was him, he said in one of the comments, it's really hard trying to get games. Ooh, not a great Anasi, certainly. But Camberwick Green. I mean, the only thing... You know, I've changed. I think that almost completely replicates the cadence and the vibe of the OG, provided it is the OG. Giggles. Yeah, he's just going all in. But was saying, you know, he tries to record good games, but as soon as like an aggro deck or a mid-range deck gets to a certain point, they just concede. And I mean, I couldn't say that's wrong because I would do the same thing once you know becomes clear what's going on and that I've kind of run out of gas. It's like, well, I kind of want to stick around just to see cool stuff happen. I mean, it's great and all, but that's why I like spectating games, because I can see stuff happen, but it's not happening to me. And since I really don't do cool stuff like this on my own, it's, you know, even less impressive. He beat me to it. I was just about to say, I bet Camberwick Green is hoping for his new era. Foolishly thinking, for whatever reason, that he didn't already have it in hand. So it has, you know, back against the wall there, but it has made the game a little more interesting, I guess. I still think it's a lot of fun just to see Thiago's deck at work, especially when he gets those combos off. But like I said, he identifies, and there's Marak doing his Marak thing. And no shade at folks who run Empire decks, but I mean, how many times do you see that exact progression? New era. I'm guessing we're gonna have fresh start come down. Well, he doesn't really need it. He's got plenty of cards because usually Empire doesn't have quite as many cards in hand. They played a lot of their drain stuff. Thiago just kind of steamrolled through those first 3 runes, gave Camberwick a lot of cards. He's going to draw some more. So New Era would probably be bad right now, but he's running on 13 Magicka. I'm gonna say it's not looking great for Tiago, but he does have Siege in hand, so that we know he can do some crazy things with that. And he's also got his 5 runes to work with, so Camberwick has a long way to go to truly turn this around. And Tiago has a lot of patience, and I think that is a huge part of this game. And a part, admittedly, that I struggle with. Because you know how many times I say I get bored? Ooh, great call. He yoinks him back. I do love when Miracked creatures get Miracked. Like, that's one of the reasons I love Admir Tharn, if you're running him. Because he's like, nope, I'm going to take it back. I'm just going to use your trigger against you and take it back. All right. So, interesting. 2 of them. Wow. I was about to say, it's very rare that you see that. Maybe he's running a 1 of. But this didn't seem to be a prophecy-heavy build, at least to my recollection. Cute little Mirac. Little 1/1 Mirac. Hey, his voice should be higher pitched. If I had the time, or if I could separate the audio, I would change it so that he talks in a higher pitched voice. It'd be pretty funny. Actually, I can separate it. So maybe you will have heard it. Because Tiago doesn't run music. I actually lay the music in myself later on. So I do actually have Mirac's voice line isolated. So yeah, you've probably heard Baby Mirac's voice by now. Rip Baby Mirac. Miracling. Miraki. Those are the cards that throw me up, and I've seen them enough now that I should expect them. But 5th Legion Trainer in an aggro deck, like I can understand Praetorian Commander and other cards like that, but 5th Legion does not seem to be a control. I mean, it's useful. She's great, but I mean, if you're getting rushed down by aggro, she's not going to help you. You know, she doesn't give your creatures, your guards doesn't make them any buffers. She just, again, Tiago using just so that he can one-shot. And see, and there we go. Now he's got. I mean, Camberwick, we see, is now pretty much healed to almost. He's almost back to where he started. So that is the power of the amulet at work there. Every bit of ground that Tiago has gained, has fought for, has come at an amulet cost. Which I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. I mean, I think. Oh. And there's... Wait a minute. What am I missing here? How did he get his hands on that? Oh! New Era. Duh. Honestly, usually for me personally, either I'm able to push through the New Era because I luckily have, you know, a support on board or something, or I have 4 or 5 more cards that are big enough that I can end the game, or especially if there's like back-to-back New Eras, like, okay, I'm like, all right, he just did the New Era, I'm going to fill the board and go at it, and then the New Era again. I usually just concede. So I don't stick around long enough to see my own cards played against me. So Tiago deciding this is the time to deploy his. Ooh, that's a great pickup there. Mushroom Tower. Mummify. He's gonna hold on to that? No? Okay. Yep. He's gonna sacrifice to do it again. Interesting, he's keeping the 6/6. Oh, maybe he's not. Oh no, he is. Ooh, give that to the Snick. Let him survive. Well, he's not going to survive. Well, he will. Septum attacks. Snake can kill 5th Legion. So yeah, this was huge. And like I was saying about patience, you know, I talk about getting bored, but especially if you're a control-oriented player, I guess your default is that you have. And look at that! Again, had a charge creature that would have survived trading with the 5th Legion, chose to keep it in the shadows. I think because he's got his eye on Sun and Shadows. Camberwick may have other plans for it. In fact, it does. So sometimes, I mean, patience isn't always a virtue. Obviously, you can't, what do you call that? How you say, you can't retroactively say, oh, you shouldn't, he shouldn't have done that. You always take a chance. Whether that's not trading, making a trade with a certain creature in the lane at the time when it would be advantageous. Like, you've got a ward, and you could trade with them, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to hit face. They have to address my creature, or if it's a drained creature or something. And then the next turn they draw something that allows them to kill your creature and keep their creature alive, whether it's like a gavel or a ward for themselves, something like that. You always take a chance. So it's always, and you'll never know how it's going to turn out until you play it, because you never know what your opponent has in their hand. So it is a virtue. I do, and that's going to be a great pickup. Particularly this phase of the game, as we see Camberwick as the, I guess in this matchup, particularly because we saw Tiago go on the aggressive, Camberwick is the control and is also the one short on cards. So we have not seen his fresh start, which, like I said, usually comes after. There's our Abner. Nothing really to play it on other than another Sun and Shadows, or Poop in the Pool, or whatever it's called. But then you'd have to shackle Sun and Shadows. So this is the fun part, just seeing how he navigates what he's got, because he doesn't have anything obvious, not like an Odaving or any card that you'd go, oh yeah, this is definitely the card to play. I would think Fresh Start, like there's no reason not to play Fresh Start at this point, because there's really not a great card to play. Okay, so he is going to, oh! Yeah, I didn't, for some reason, I saw Shackled Mannimarco and thought Silenced Mannimarco. But I guess Abner would still trigger, wouldn't it? Because it doesn't wipe off the effect. Okay, so he goes for a Humble Ungulum. I mean, granted, he's a premium, so that's pretty spiffy. And yeah, just really feeding himself cards. He's got those assassins in there for more draw, and Camberwick with a little bit of draw of his own. And he's now healed back up to 32, so he has now flipped the tables on Tiago, and he now has far more health. However, that card detriment. Ooh, nice. I regret it to this day because, but I actually randomly got a premium snake. I can't remember what it's called. Whoa, really? Wow. Thought we'd go ahead and help Jshadz out. I commented that there's 2 games that he has just like completely crushed before I could even start commenting on him. And I said, man, you're just too amazing. And he said, well, apparently only when you're watching. So I figured in between games, other games I was spectating here, I figured I would go ahead and, okay, apparently I'm not helping. Well, I guess, no, I think he's got this. He's got 2 chargers in hand, total of 10 damage from those alone, plus the mummy he's got on board, plus the damage he did there. And Apex Predator can do 2 just by changing lanes. Never mind, he does not have the 2 anymore. So Dia DDD manages to clear the board. Apex is going to get those 2 points of damage in there. Potential here, obviously, if Dia DD has DDD, lots of Ds. DYA DDD. Alright, so we're definitely going to see some pings here. Yep, Archer's Gambit. Jshadz is very lucky that he has 2 chargers to close it out with. Although, wait, no. He is, as of now, going to be 2 points off. But, no, I was going to say he has no way to, but he's got all the contracts. Okay, does not have a ping effect. So Jshadz is going to close it out here. Again, this is yep. Shoot. Get it up to 6. Hit. TazCad for the win. A nice discounted TazCad, by the way. So there we go. Is able to close it out against a formidable Ebonheart deck. And we have the honor of spectating for the first time that I can recall Rimmon 2012 Friends.
I fight with the fervor of the wild hunt.
A connection happily made through Brave Cariad, also
Connie.
Friends. And as we can see, he is in the event. Has 2 cards in the surplus lane. Discounted a snake tooth necklace. Up against BMW 25, the Miraculous in Battle Mage, and the 2 Earthbone Spinners are facing off, literally, and they both perished. Blood Dragon, love to see that card played. Still near and dear to my heart. I love the artwork for it. It doesn't look quite as good up close. Some of the brush strokes are a little broad. It doesn't have quite the detail, but overall, a spectacular card. My big gripe is I cannot find a high res. If anybody knows where to find it, the full image, because I found a bigger version of that, but it's just vertical. If anybody has found the actual full canvas version of Blood Dragon, please let me know. I would love to have it as a wallpaper, use it as an image, or what have you. Just beautiful card art. Just it evokes so much. Just I mean the mountains, just the wintry look to it. It kind of reminds me like the Battle of Hoth. Anyway, really great and a beautiful artwork of the dragon. The flame effects are great. Just a really fun card in general. Obviously, and the effects. Being able to attack in multiple lanes, being able to get around guards.
Oriel, guide me.
Just a great card. Just a really great card. BMW expending a lot of resources to get rid of it. Does manage to get a card on the board at the same time in the Pyromancer, and is able to do it. Sometimes Pyromancer can be tricky to play because... Interesting. Is he planning to drive Mad, the Rimmon? Not the Rimmon, the Bannerman? He is, okay. I was gonna say, I mean, obviously you got it silenced, so it can't produce those firebrands, but that's still a 4/4 body on the board, or 4/3 body on the board. Makes me wonder, we saw AyRoss earlier running with the Nords. I guess in this gauntlet it makes sense because you play a 0-cost card and it reduces the cost of cards in your hand. I don't think people are necessarily running the Atromancer build, but oh, there we get to see the is it Battle Reeve? No, it's Reaver. Bananaschwob Reaver. And oh no, Belly G bounces the Reaver, but unfortunately, Rimmon has the Magicka if he wants to rapid shot and play the Reaver again. Or probably a Leaf Lurker is going to be more economical. But he has the rapid shot Felinasi for possibilities later on. Okay, no, so BMW was doing that combo where you have your firebrands and you compare them with the Atromancer to be able to do 10, 20 points of damage. So, Tiny Dragon would have been perfect. So now he's got a little bit of a quandary. Not much of a quandary. For me, it would have been a quandary, but I guess when you're actually playing, you go, no, I need to make my decision and just get it done. Because you're like, you want to do a lane clear. That's the dream, to be able to do and he now has a Magicka for that, to do the Tiny Dragon, Tiny D, and then do that whole lane wipe. But, and there's a nice combo, putting a 3/4 on the board and triggering the Breton Conjurer. I forgot that's a thing. That's actually a really good ploy there. So, not sure. Wondering if Rimmon runs Unstoppable Rage. I would imagine so. With that giant and the Belly G, you think maybe just one copy would be a good idea, but that is one card that may not want to clunk it up your hand if that's not your strategy moving forward.
I fight with the fervor of the wild hunt.
So yeah, BMW's looking to just go face here and try to close the game out early. He is at a card disadvantage. use that. Again, breaking a ward. Pretty good synergy there. And
Oriel, guide me.
yeah, Rimmond's going to be he's really in a tough spot here. He has no guards. Oh my gosh. And BMW keeps the hits coming. That's the way it is sometimes with this game. You just, it seems like you just never get a break. They somehow keep playing cards. You know that there's a fixed cost of the card in this particular gauntlet. That surplus is cutting the cost of different cards, but it just seems like sometimes it'll never end. All right, so he'll be able to have his pit. Hopefully, right now it's really difficult because if he gets the discounts on the right cards, he can play a ton and probably stabilize a little bit here. He's got a guard, he's got a leaf lurker, and a cliff racer. Cliff racer discounts Belly G. Belly G can bounce something, which will keep him alive. And that's probably what we're going to see. He's probably going to bounce out the 3/4, the crocodile, I would imagine. Because you don't want to... Okay, he's going to put the 4/4 back. I mean, granted, she had the buff on there, but... Yeah, I could see that as well. I guess the other thing, too, is now the 3/4 doesn't have the option of trading. And Rimmond, I think, has lethal on the board himself. Oh! The games are fast and furious today. My goodness gracious, there's only 12 folks on, which is certainly not the highest. Usually there's 18 to 19 people, but everybody is playing. Everybody's in the event. So I need to make a mental note. Come on out on Sunday afternoons, especially when there's an active gauntlet in the works, and you will see some stuff people will be playing. So we happened on Kfluffy.npo, which I think that's the first time I've ever seen him in Warrior colors. Doesn't mean that's the first time he's run it. It's the first time I can think of it, of him being in there. And the Puppers gets the nice buff from Lucien Lachance. Lucien Lachance!
Keep off the ground.
I was really wondering if I wanted to bother trying. Oh, and that just sets up a perfect trade with the Grotward Ambusher, unless he gets tomed. I think he's going to get tomed. Teprix. No offense. I will say, though, the amount of times that I've gotten it wrong, though, that looks like a typo. You know, if you're typing really fast, sometimes you juxtapose the H and the E. Not juxtapose, but you swap the H and the E. So it's Teprix. So it looks like he meant to say the pricks. Or the pre, perhaps. But we got pre instead. All right, I will have to take this conversation. This is my first time speaking, but we'll rejoin the game in a moment. Okay, so we missed a bit, unfortunately, but oh man, we missed the great combo of the vampire and the ambusher. That's a lane clear for anything that doesn't have a ward, and I guess we missed a trigger of for the win there. So yeah, we only missed one turn, but it's a really eventful turn. I do apologize, very sorry, but we'll get it next time. We are rejoining Rimmond in the midst of the battle. We are rejoining Rimmond in the midst of the gauntlet run, coming off of a bit of a heartbreaking loss there to a lightning bolt at the very end, just as it pretty much had it turned around where he could close the game out the next turn. Running the ping removal deck, so a lot of obviously you see the Goblin,
The battle shall be ours.
Murkwater Witch, Leaf Lurkers, Fallenasty Reavers. Of course, getting discounts, that makes them a heck of a lot more viable and dangerous than they are at a 9 cost, I believe. He can use them almost like Leaf Lurkers half the time. As we see, he's got one there queued up as a 6 cost. No pings at the moment, so really no way to trigger it. But definitely in a good position against Kill v Sex. Not sure what to make of that, although it is a very simple English word, a letter, and another very simple English word. I'm really not sure what to make of that, but certainly not the strangest name I've ever seen in this game. And yeah, unlike the last game, Rimmond just coming out with Okay. Seeing more and more of that banner as well. That used to be a scarcity. This is probably the third time I've seen it in 2 days. A couple times, or at least one time, was in a game that unfortunately you won't get to see. It was in a spotlight that
The forest is my cloak.
oh, that by this time I've mentioned you already. Blood Dragon, woo! Love to see it. Says even if you play a guard, I'm good to go, but that is a heck of a lane. And the Poop Stone. Well, if you had any moments of grief for
Make it good.
kill there, they can be assuaged as he resorts to poop dictionaries.
Is yours.
Well fought, quickly fought.
Let's find out. Lower the gate.
So we're joining Banana. He's on his gateway game for rank 3 in versus arena. Fingers crossed it goes well for him. We all know what gateway games can be like, don't we? Ooh, prison ship. That's a blast from the past. I used to play prison ship a lot when I was a new player. And now you'll see that Imbued Bosna is always a very popular card in arena. Consumes particularly strong in arena. As you see there, he gets a nice buff and lethal off the back of that. I think we might going to see a prison ship come out. Oh no, maybe not. I think he's going to go down the prison ship next route then. Does sound a bit bad talking about it, a prison ship. It sounds just a bit horrible, doesn't it? But
Behold, my
ouch.
magnificent monster.
They've got some good picks, haven't they? I think he's going to probably go for the chain and the lethal guy. Good way to force them out into the field lane as well, isn't it?
I stand behind my word.
Goodness me, I hope they haven't actually got many items to benefit from that.
Let's do the fish stick.
I wonder if the pet's going to go for Manic Jack. It might go for the item guy, I suppose. I love the sound that Arise makes. Of course, all Skelly sounds are fun, aren't they? Is he going to do it? That's not a very good impersonation of it, is it really? He is brilliant. See, I'm not very good at making Skelly sounds, but I do love them.
Let's do the fish stick.
I'll take you all down with me.
They've got some really good picks, actually. I wonder if we're going to get Whispering Claw Strike here. Seems likely. Again, that's a card you tend to see quite often in Arena. Oh my goodness.
I don't just know how to make them. Let's do the fish stick.
I don't think I've seen a single weak card out of them from that build. I mean, that's a really good build. They've obviously had some very good picks offered, because sometimes you just get offered trash and take the lesser evil. Nice, making full use of maximising her. Oh dear. They're going to be a bit disappointed about that, aren't they?
See, you're in need of my wisdom.
Poor bog lurcher.
Let's do the fish stick.
Still, on the good side, the opponent is running a bit low on resources. So I think we might get, I think we get the Ballista or the Corinth Brawler, maybe, and Murkwater Witch to take out the Bog Lurcher. But it needs to make the most advantage of that guard facility, doesn't he? Well, they're a teensy bit disappointed by that, aren't they?
This is but a dream waking over and over.
There hasn't been... Pretty certain there hasn't been a single weak card in that build. Very good for a random deck, isn't it? Oh wow. That was perfect timing, wasn't it? So we might see a Spoils of War here. Oh no, maybe not.
There will be sweetness for this one tonight.
I can see why he wants to go for the health drain there. So, for the health gain there, rather. If I could talk, it would help, wouldn't it?
Suffer and die.
That's probably not going to help them a massive amount. I think he's going to have to take that out.
The end of life is not the end of usefulness.
And now's the time to start chipping away at them without giving them too many cards, really.
You will be devoured and shattered. Behold, my magnificent monster.
Yippee! Not my standard response to seeing an invade card. Maybe he'll buff up the the guard a bit. Definitely worth seeing what you can get for free from spoils, isn't it? Be virtually free anyway. One cost.
This one is crafty and swift.
That's useful, isn't it? Very nicely done. So it's looking very promising unless they've got something like Regia. Which you do see in Arena. People do get offered it occasionally. I mean, full credit to the opponent, they have crafted a very good deck. They've had some very good choices. Well, they finally got her, didn't they? She's always a good one to target. Well done, Banana.
And how cool is this? So we are actually now we're watching ShakeItBaby, who you have seen his games before with Denise, but she has connected us. And so now I am able to observe ShakeItBaby shaking it on the ladder and shaking it in a similar way to, at least in initial construction, as we see here, similar to what Rimmon was doing with the pings and finish off. Unfortunately, well, let's see. No, okay, so I mean, Green Pact, at least he eats the... Well, no, he wouldn't. Yeah. Green Pact usually would go... I mean, Sharpshooter into Green Pact would be awesome, typically, but not when you've got two lethals, one of them a piddly 2-2, but a 2-2 that's enough to take out the massive Green Pact messenger. But yeah, this is great. It makes me... I think one of the first decks I fell in love with that was outside of Battle Mage. I mean, Battle Mage was just kind of what I gravitated towards because I like items. But the first game I remember I got wrecked and I hated it, but I was so amazed by it, was a lethal ping archer deck. And it was just that. I was either getting pinged and leaf lurkered, and I was like, that can't be right. How in the world can you take out a whole card just because it got injured? But leaf lurkers, Fallon FC Reaver didn't really get a lot of play. I think we're seeing it here now in this tournament, or in this gauntlet, because it can get those discounts. And if you can get a 5 or 6 cost Reaver and couple that with your ambushers or whatever, that's freaking fantastic. All right, so he yeets his guard to safety, his Green Pact Stalker to safety, who's another card that just doesn't get a lot of play. But that's another one that synergizes with the pings. So you have the pings that you can finish them off. Probably some lethal pings in here, I would guess, with Archer's Gambit perhaps. But then you also have, as long as you have an injured creature in that lane, he comes out super buff. Unless he gets nailed by, a Shadowfen Priest who wanted to clean him up a little bit. So now he is cleansed, but he is also tiny. Nero 311090. Too short to be a phone number.
I can taste you.
But anywho, possibly a birthday, I guess, if you do it in a certain way. It's interesting, dates in different countries, people do the dates differently. Like here, it's typically month, date, year. And a lot of countries, though, you'll get day, month, year. And maybe even some of them month, year, day. Who knows? But, so that could be his birthday. Born in the 90s, in 1990. March 11th, 1990, or perhaps November 3rd, 1990, or it could be none of those things. Anyway, he's immortal, so birthdays don't matter. Tied. Did something happen? Did I do something? I mean, that ambusher. I have to say, if an ambusher hovers that far, that long over a lane, she's not ambushing very well. Hopefully, ShakeItBaby has not encountered a problem.
There is plenty for all.
Certainly could have just been going, just trying to make sure that that's the play. But just the way it was hovering. But I mean, as we all know, anybody who plays, you can't pass out. You can't have some kind of physical issue and continue to have that card hold over. It doesn't stay there. As soon as you pull the mouse back, it falls out of play. So didn't have to worry that he came into some illness suddenly. But just I've seen, if anybody who's seen Braves games, this game can screw you. Ooh, nice prophecy there. And yeah, this does cause pause because he would not be able to stop. I think that's going to go I think that'll go in the shadow lane. I think it will. But I would think incorrectly, it seems.
If I fall, the east will reclaim me.
I could see it going into the field lane, but I think, I mean, that 3/4 now, granted, you could throw a dagger on it, and it would be able to trade with the 2/2, who would become a 4/4 as soon as she hits the face once.
There is plenty for all.
And bam! Full lane clear. Oh, that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. For a name like Reaver, the guy looks like a dork. Like a royal dork, like everything. I mean, he's got quilts. His armor's kind of quilted-y. Well, okay, it looks quilted. I guess it's technically scaled. Okay, the armor doesn't look too bad. The helmet looks a little bit goofy. I do like the fact that his eyes are kind of dark, by shadow. It makes him look a little bit more formidable, but the horns kind of just almost like clown hair. Yeah. And I used to think that what we were seeing behind him was like his wings or something. But when you see the full image, I guess it's some kind of building or something behind him. So not the most formidable looking character. The swords are pretty nice. The Schwaaards are pretty nice. The boots, the pants,
Khajiit will find a way in.
little goofy. All right, so most assuredly Belly G is going to come down and boot out the 4-4. You don't want her snowballing. And it's going to be, no. Yes. No, I don't know. Interesting to see what ShakeItBaby does here. ShakeItBaby is a high-level player. Interesting to see if he decides to pivot here and do some damage to face, or if he's going to hold off and hope to starve Nero out of cards. He can do 12 right now. Well, 14 if he wants to throw the dagger on, which would set up lethal for next turn and would make the burglar worthless. I think attacking is the right play here. Because he can't give a charge. Okay, so he's going to hold off. I should know that. So you can almost that's money in the bank. If you want to bet against whatever I have to say at this point, it's almost always going to be wrong. I'm thinking at this point he doesn't have an answer for the burglar, and so
Khajiit will find a way in.
like if he had hit with everything, provided he didn't hit a prophecy, he'd be able to close it out this game. But there he is with the prophecy, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe he knew.
There is plenty for all.
Oh no! So Jshadz just lost a game. I was not spectating. It's with great power comes great responsibility. You see, I have the power to let people win games, and yeah, there's really no answer for that Quinn Roll burglar, and there's no real clean answer. Oh, okay. Jshadz lost to the rank 62, legendary rank 62. So it would have been a tough win anyway. All right, so now interested again to see how ShakeItBaby plays this. And again, once again a reminder, folks. Once again a reminder for anybody who's new or hasn't seen it. Great play there to pick up some more cards for ShakeItBaby. When I say didn't see that coming, or they didn't play it the way I thought they would, etc. and so on, that is not me saying they made a misplay or I would have played it different. Well, I think it does say I would have played it differently, but that doesn't mean that I'm saying I would have played it the right way or the better way. That is simply me saying that's how my brain processed the information I had, but I don't have all the information. And with the information I had, I would have gone a certain way with it. But I think, barring a Swift Strike, I think we're going to see this pay off for ShakeItBaby, the way he's decided to play it.
I do not.
Which again is starving Nero out of cards.
This one has been sharpening
And
her
fortunately,
claws all
there is no
day.
Swift Strike for the kitty, so she is going to get bigger. But another prophecy, and maybe that's what maybe ShakeItBaby just knows his prophecy count in this deck is particularly high, and so he almost wants them to go with it. Pretty sure this is a straightforward Shadow Lane play, but again, maybe not. Maybe not.
I do not fear.
Now the question is, does he leave that down? Well,
As I am ordered.
Let's see. So no way to finish off does have a draw option if he wants to shift something out of, or if he makes the trade. Yep, makes the trade. He can shift the Weaver or the Ambusher into the Shadow Lane. for some more possible options. Probably wants to get that moonlight wear the bat down, the werebat down, I would think. And if it gets a discount, we probably will see it. If not, but I just at 16 health with, cards like the Swift's Claw. Is it Swift Claw? Is that what she's called? Yeah, Swift Claw. Now, getting rid of the Thieves' Den is huge because it allows her to remain relatively petite, especially. Oh, he's got his own burglar. Ooh, and he's got a premium one with the glowing eyes. That's a woo. That is a wicked burglar right there. I mean, between the eyes and the green, emanations there, really makes her look like a superhero. With kind of a silly mohawk, but whatever. What are you gonna do?
Behold the power
but looks much more impressive than the non-premium version, which unfortunately is all I have.
by the hair.
It's a Swift Claw. Hits again. See, with that Thieves' Den, she would now be a 4/4. And would be going up to an 8/8, I believe, is how that goes with her. Is it 2 or she doubled? I think it's just 2. Pill for 1+1.
Your teeth have no bite.
I mean, either way, she dies to the giant. But, oh, there we go. There we go. Tiny Dragon into the Reaver for another lane clear. Nero has really had a hard time with their Shake It Baby, using the tools that he has. And that's why, as I said, what I see is only goes so far because he knows the constitution of the deck. And I think he's also correctly seeing, look, if I break these runes, he's playing a lot of drain, a lot of ways to gain health. And if I break the rune beforehand, I'm giving him cards, and then he's going to heal up the next turn. Not a great way to play it. So yeah, and I think maybe with that burglar coming down,
Feel my power.
oh, I feel the power. And boy, howdy is that. I mean, that's not the worst because it allows that to come down. But fortunately for Shake It Baby now, he can actually, could rapid shot into a Leaf Lurker or another Reaver. I think we've only seen 2 so far. I'm guessing he's playing all 3. Yeah, only got 1 Reaver, and we haven't seen a Leaf Lurker. So if he is running them, I would imagine there's a pretty good shot that would be in there. But if we haven't seen one by now, I would imagine that's because he doesn't have them. And I'm wrong again! Celebrate with me now!
What a pity.
I am a little bit of taunt in there, but it's a hard thing. Like I said, not my cup of tea. Because Nero really did give it a good fight, but just is running on gas right now, running out of gas. And I mean, Shake It Baby can hit for another 8 without having to worry about breaking a rune, which is nice. And I'm guessing it's going to lay out a pretty formidable board, and probably not going to wait to attack the face. Yeah, definitely looking to close it out next turn. And we'll be able to do so, I might add. Whoa! Just kidding. Nest of Vipers. Another one you just don't see that often. And yeah, see, it's hard. Again, you can't backseat drive it. You can't quarterback Monday morning quarterback it. I would have waited as well. I would have, I thought I had a nice, would have been like, okay, I've got a good board now. Now I'll be able to finish it off next turn. Certainly not expecting my opponent to play Nest of Vipers. That's just not something you see all that often. I was playing a quest.
To die.
Huh.
What a pity.
Maybe these two know each other. Nero doesn't seem to be a part of a clan. We might, well, if he has another nest of vipers, Morgul Gatekeeper wouldn't stop it from killing the giant. But ShakeItBaby not letting himself be goaded into... Oh, jeez! Nero the answer, his friends call him. And see, that's fair play. You know, you're going to give him a what of pity, but you say, hey, all right, nicely done. Granted, oh no, is he going to silence? What are you doing? Really? So,
nicely done.
Is he wanting him to attack? Is that what we're seeing here? Because Tiny Dragon and Leaf Lurker could clear out the field lane, and that leaves him with just 5.
Close ranks, let nothing through.
Tiny Dragon, Leaf Lurker, come on. Come on, ShakeItBaby. Do it. I knew it. I don't like he's gonna save it just in case Nero plays something like another Dark Seducer. It's a smart play. It's a smart play. He gains nothing other than, you know, making sure he's out of range. But I don't think Nero, even with the Tazcad, 9, 10, yeah, even with the Tazcad. Oh no! Wow. Yep. There you go. That's why he saved it.
They call me the Bandit King.
He can now Tiny Dragon and Leaf Lurker. Brilliant. Brilliant.
The Night Mother will guide us.
See, that's the thing. In my mind, I'm going, you know, I see 9 points of damage on the board, and I'm like, well, that's not far enough away. And so I'd want to clear that lane out just to be cautious, and it would have cost me the game because there would be no answer to Odaping. And right now, ShakeItBaby, once again, pressing lethal. Nero as well, and Nero has had the big cards at the end here, and how do you get to draw like that?
I do not fear.
Like, there are so many cards in the deck that are not ideal in this circumstance, and he just has drawn every single back end card. I mean, Earthbone is great if it wasn't for that. Oh man. Although it's not over. Because he can Earthbone. Maybe hit for 1. And then put the Morgul Gatekeeper down to block the 12-12. And unless he has...
Close ranks, let nothing through.
Oh, so close. 1 damage off. Oh no, Prophecy! Oh no! Oh no! Whatever it is, he just has to put it in the shadow lane.
They are no challenge for the
Well, yeah, no, I guess. Alright, so Shake It is going to have to rely on a Prophecy himself here. Unless Nero can remove that guard. Which, if he can, this whole thing was academic anyway. This last few turns was.
You cannot hide.
And no Prophecy there, and ShakeItBaby is going to lose this one.
A formidable display.
But my goodness gracious, when you've got all of that.
Night Mother's love.
Come on, Nero, really? Yeah. And with that, we'll bring this episode to a close and let it be a reminder to all of us, even high-level players, making the right decisions, using conventional wisdom, being very savvy, being patient, building up that board, making the right trades, waiting to break the runes, and looking to, you know, close it out against an opponent that is drawing very, 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 very well to the ridiculous degree. Even in those kinds of games, luck of the draw still trumps that almost all the time. If you have a halfway decent deck and you're making halfway decent plays and you have amazing draw, you're probably going to win against somebody who's making amazing plays, built a great deck, and is drawing pretty good. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. So the ups and downs come with the game, but there you have it. Looking forward to watching some more of ShakeItBaby's videos. So thank you to everybody who has played, put your prowess on display, and for everybody else, myself included, keep playing.